Hi everybody, it's Valerie. How are you? I am good. I hope you've had a great Wednesday so far. I am going to be using the Tasteful Touches Stamp Set today. It's one of my favorites. It is in the new catalog, not the holiday catalog, but the new annual catalog that just came out. So it is a fun one. It is one that I think can be used with a lot of different things. It can be for fall, it can be for spring, because you know, you've got the gorgeous flower. So you could use it for many, many different things. So that's one reason I wanted to use it today. And now I did cut a couple of little stitched circles from the stitched shapes today. I did these center two. So if you have this set, this is the size I use, those center two. I didn't actually measure them, so I think this one's 1 7/8, this one's like 2 1/2, possibly. Not positive on that. And then I die cut the word friend because I wanted to put that on the card. So I'm just gonna set these aside, and then we're just gonna kind of play around with some things to design this card and get it completely put together, because I didn't do it completely. So I don't even have a little sample to show you, but what I want to start with is some of the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. Now I love this gray and white. It's not brick. I guess it would be some type of tile, probably like a backsplash tile, I guess. That's what I would call it anyway. And I want to cut a strip of it, but I want it, when it's on my card, I want the tile to be on an angle. So I'm just going to cut like a 7-inch strip of it, because I think that's probably about how much I need, because I tried this earlier with a 6-inch strip and it just wasn't quite big enough. So I'm like, we'll try 7 and see what happens. I don't want to waste too much paper doing this. Now what I cut earlier I can still use. I'll just use it for something else, not for this card. So what I want to do is I want to put it in here sideways, and I want to make it about 3 3/4 by probably 5 or 4 3/4. So I'm just going to cut right here on this. I'm just going to put it on an odd angle. I don't know if this is actually going to work. We're going to find out right now. If it doesn't, then we're going back to having the tiles up and down or side to side. And then I'm going to turn it this way. Wait, which way did I'm trying to remember which way I turned it earlier. So I cut that angle, and then I want to kind of put it this way and cut it right down on this side. So I cut it this way, then I'm going to flip it down and put that first cut straight this way. Right? And then I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to cut it at 3 3/4. And then we want 5. So now we should be perfect. I'm going to pull it up here because this is where I can see 5 the best. Yes, perfect. 3 3/4 by 5. So now you're ending up with some of these triangle pieces. And like I said, this was a 7-inch width piece to begin with, 7 by 12. So you're going to have to kind of follow that. I don't have like a diagram for that or anything. That's just kind of something I was playing around with earlier. So now I have my tiles on a diagonal, which is what I wanted. Then I wanted to use basic gray for the card base, because that's one of the colors that is in this paper, and it really is pretty. So I have a pre-cut card base already. Give it a good crease. And then we're going to add that directly onto there. And now, because I want it just a little bit of contrast, I'm going to add a piece of Whisper White in here too, I think. Because it's not really a lot of contrast, but it's a little bit of contrast. Just a piece of Whisper White behind it. So that's going to be the layer that we're going to start out with. And then, like I said, I went ahead and cut a couple of stitch circles. So those are gonna go on our card here somewhere. I think I'm gonna actually put them down here on the bottom. But we have some things that we need to stamp. So from the Tasteful Touches Stamp Set, I wanted to stamp one of these flowers. And I thought I would do it in Flirty Flamingo because that would be a pretty color to add on here. Hi Donna, how are you? Thank you for joining. Oh, not Flirty Flamingo paper, but Whisper White paper and Flirty Flamingo ink. So I'm gonna stamp it in Flirty Flamingo because I wanted like a color that was a good contrast to this, but also something bright, so it would have a little bright element to it. And then after I stamp it, I want to cut it out. So there are no dies for this. The dies that come with the Tasteful Touches Stamp Set are the Tasteful labels, so they're more label dies. They don't cut out the flower and the feather and that from the stamp set. So you have to fussy cut these out, or if you have a Brother machine that will cut it out, you could do that too, which I don't, so I just fussy cut everything when I need to. But I love how pretty this flower stamps. It just looks gorgeous in that Flirty Flamingo. I think it's really pretty. And I think I want to color the center of it in maybe with one of the smoky slate. Either marker or Stamp and Blend, just to get a little bit of color in the center of it. I say a little bit of color, but a little bit of coordinating color, because it already has color. It already has Flirty Flamingo. So I don't know who all is watching right now. I mean, I can see Donna's watching because she said hi. So if you're on here, say hi. I would appreciate it. Anyone, if you want to share this with your friends now or later, that would be fantastic. The more the merrier. Let me grab my smoky slate blends. I'm going to start with light and just see how it looks. And I'm going to use the writing tip on here. And I'm just going to color in a little bit in the center. I don't want to do too much. I think this might be a little too light, but it's coloring in because a lot of that is stamped already with the Flirty Flamingo, so I don't think I'm going to get a lot of color in the center, but that should work just to give it a little bit when it's laid on the card. It's just got a little bit of that smoky slate on there. I think that'll be good. Then I thought, I don't know if I want to do a feather. I'm not sure, but let's try one and see what it turns out like. We can always exclude it if we don't want it later, but I love the feathers, so why not? Let's give it a shot and see what happens. Need a block for that. And so if you're watching, throw me some comments if you have any questions, because I would be more than happy to answer them. I try to answer while I'm doing the video, but sometimes I have to answer later, you know, in the comment section itself, because I might not catch it as it scrolls by. But the more the better. It helps with all that Facebook algorithm stuff and stuff that I don't completely understand. I just know it helps to get comments and and likes and shares and all that good stuff to get your video seen more and get a little more screen time, I guess you'd say. I don't know what you want to call it. So now with the feather, if you accidentally cut off one of these little pieces as you're trimming it, it doesn't matter because it's a feather. Feathers are imperfect. You know, when you find a feather out in the grass, or if you're walking through the woods and you find a feather, there are little chunks missing sometimes. There are pieces that just kind of won't ever lay flat because that's nature. Nature's not imperfect. It's imperfectly perfect, if that makes sense. Or perfectly imperfect. That's what I want to say. Y'all got to correct me on this because sometimes I'm just speaking off top of my head and it might not come out right. So for this entire week so far, it's only Wednesday, but since Sunday it has been rainy every day. And so I had a couple of plants that I have hanging for my porch that are just under the overhang so they don't get the rainwater unless I set them down. So today I'm like, all right, it's gonna be rainy again this afternoon. I'll go ahead and set them down. Hasn't rained yet. Just my luck. I'm like, just because I think I'm gonna get them some good rainwater, that's when it doesn't do it. Yes, Donna, I'm with you. I wish they had dyes for this feather too, because it's a little intricate to try and cut out. Now you don't have to go in all the little creases like I did where there are little creases. You could just cut around it, but I get kind of detailed when I do this. Ooh, I kind of like how that looks without anything on there, actually. Without anything else. Love that feather. All right, so I told you that I used I don't know if I told you I used the well-written dies and I cut out the word friend, but I did. I cut it out a couple of times. And I also used the sunflower dies and cut out some of these leaf sprigs. And I cut them in 3 different colors. I did Smoky Slate, 30 Flamingo, and then just Whisper White. And then I cut the word friend in black, I cut it in white, and look, I even actually was able to save my little dots, and then I cut one little bird because I might throw a little bird on there. I love these little birds. But these are just all elements I wanted to incorporate into this card once I start putting it together. That and this gorgeous ribbon. This is the Flowers for Every Season. This is one of 3. There are 3 different ribbons in this pack, but this is the Whisper White. I call it gauzy ribbon, but it's just like a woven ribbon. So the first thing I need to do is get my layers, get these 2 layers adhered together. And I gotta find my adhesive. I'm not sure where I put my adhesive. So I'm gonna be using my Tombow glue. I think that's what I used yesterday. So I'm gonna use the Tombow glue if I can get it out of the container. Now you don't need a lot of this, but obviously just enough to get everything stuck down. Just make a few squiggles on there. Doesn't have to be super thick because it works really, really well. And before I adhere the layers completely down, I want to tie some of this ribbon around it. Yes, I think, Christine, I think it would make a good man's card without the flower as well. I think that would be great. So all you'd have to do is just take that flower off if you want to make it into a guy's card. Just don't even use the flower. So you know me, I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to pull this around and I just want to tie it in a knot. I'm not going for a bow on here. I just want a knot and then I'll trim the ends off. Because look, I didn't even tie it very even. I've got like one short piece, one long piece. So these are both gonna have to be short, and I think I'll fold them because that one's already kind of folded. And then we'll just snip it on an angle from the center to the edges, and then you get that little banner. So I'll do the same with this, fold it in half, and then you've got the center of the fold here, you've got your edges, snip it from the center to the edges, and you've got that little banner at the end. Super cute. All right, let me see where my adhesive could have gone. My stamp and seal. I know I have it. Ah, there we go. Empty case and no stamp and seal in it. So let's go ahead and refill it. So to refill these, you get your refill in these bags. And now these bags have a zipper seal on them. So if you want to keep your stamp and seal back in here, you can. But you take your little top off, and this is actually a Stamp and Seal Plus one, but I don't know where my other one is, so we're gonna use it. At the top, you just kind of squeeze those and pull it apart. And then your little things just fit right in there. clip it back together, and you're good. Perfect. Now we should be set to go and get some adhesive on the back here. Now you gotta kind of get it so it is at the top of the roller. So after you roll it, when you're rolling it, if you stop like this and just pull it up, your adhesive is going to kind of go down a little bit. So you got to kind of bend your adhesive back like this and pull it up to keep that adhesive at the top. So it makes it easier for the next time when you roll it. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I'm just doing it that way so you can see exactly how I'm holding it. So kind of make it straight up and then pull. And then it keeps that adhesive right at the top. Like I said, if you go like this and then just pull it up, your adhesive ends up down here. It kind of sucks it back in for some reason. So I found that that's the easiest way to keep it where you want it. Now I wanted that ribbon at the bottom. So make sure I got my card the right way, opening the right way before I stick this on here. So go ahead and get that down like that. And then I want to add these two circles on here because these are going to be kind of part of the focus. Let's kind of put that one underneath the ribbon a little bit. And then this one is going to go on top of it, so we'll add a couple of dimensionals. You know how much I like my dimensionals. Like if there's one thing I never want to run out of, it's dimensionals, because I use them so often. Now I don't necessarily want this completely centered, maybe off to the right a little bit, because I want to be able to kind of maybe tuck the feather in under here. That would be cute. Then if I add the flower in, kind of like that, maybe. Hi Angie, how are you? And then I want to stamp, I want friend, and then I want you are so special. So I went ahead and cut a strip of Flirty Flamingo, and I cut it a little bit too long, so I'm going to cut it down. I want it to be 3 1/4 inches in length, and it's 3/4 wide. And the reason I want to cut it down is it kind of hung a little too far when I put it on here before, so I figure if I cut it down a little bit, it should be much better. And then we'll stamp it in Memento. Cute. And then this is one of the new punches. This is going to be in the holiday catalog, but it's got the banners and it's got the little triangular end there. So let's just use that little triangular end and see how cute that is. And then I'm just going to do one end that way. I think I'm going to put this back into the trimmer here and trim it down just so it's just at the beginning of the sentiment. So it's kind of, so when it goes on here, it'll be, I don't want to cover up my cute ribbon. So that'll kind of go in there somewhere. I haven't obviously adhered it down yet. It's still sticking up. But I need to decide if I want to do friend with the black letters or the white letters. So I'm going to let you all vote on that. You guys let me know which one you think looks better, the white or the black. Which one kind of stands out more. And then I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of Stamp and Seal on here. Just enough to stick it to this circle because it doesn't have to, and I don't want it to go obviously past the edge of the card. But I'm trying to figure out how I want to lay this flower and the feather And I would like to add some of these in, but I'm just not sure which color yet. So we're gonna give it a try with all of these. So if you have an opinion whether we're gonna use the basic black paper or the Whisper white paper for Friend, shout it out, or forever hold you peace. Use white because the black takes away from you. Oh yeah, I think you're kind of right, Donna. I kind of liked the white one better too. But I didn't think of it that way, but you're right, it kind of pulls away from that just a little bit. And I think I actually like those white ones, but let's try the Smoky Slate just to see before we hook everything together. Smoky Slate's kind of pretty too. Not that we couldn't add more, you know me, the more the better. Throw in as much as you can. I like lots of fluff. I don't think I like those ones though. All right, so let's see. So we're gonna use the white, the Whisper white, and we need to get our flower on here. And I'm just gonna use one dimensional for now, and I'm gonna actually add a dimensional in, and I'll show you how I do that after we get some of the other things in here. So first I'm going to put that feather just kind of underneath that You Are Special, but I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on that because I want that closer to the cardstock. I want to do at least one of these gray ones in here, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to use just a little bit of glue. Just a couple of dots on there, but I'm going to kind of put this up just a little bit. I don't want it too far down. I kind of want these sprigs to kind of pop up, you know, from behind that flower a little higher. And then we'll add that single white one on the other side. And then I don't think we need the other Smoky Slate one. I think we have enough. I think it kind of looks good with the two white and then one around the edge. So normally what I would do with this is I would stick this down, and then if I had more to shove in behind it, which I obviously just glued everything down so I don't have to put anything behind it. I don't want to hide my feather too much. So maybe we'll kind of pull it over the flower a little bit. Maybe we're going to cut a little bit of that flower off because I have a dimensional that's blocking it under here. So we're going to cut a little bit of it off so it can kind of go under that just a little bit, but so it pops out like that. I love that. So what I would do is I would do that down with one dimensional, and then I would stick my little pieces in there. But since I already have my little pieces in there, we can do this. I would just take a dimensional, stick it on my Take Your Pick tool, just lift that up, slide it under, and add it in. And that's what I'll do with this side. I'll add another one in there so it doesn't fall down, so to speak. And then because we want our feather to stay up a little bit, I'm gonna stick one right under here where the glue stops. And then that will hold that feather kind of up on an angle a little bit so it pops up a little bit over that flower. Now, of course, it's not popped up as much as it was because it had a little more area to pop up before, but we don't want it to rip off when we send the card anyway. So for these little words, I just like to put a couple of little dots on because you don't need a ton of glue on them, but kind of lay it down so you can figure out where you need it. So I'm gonna need some on the bottom of the F. I'm gonna need some starting between the I and the E down. The R really isn't touching much, so it's not gonna need any little dots. So I'm just gonna put some tiny, you can probably not even see what I'm doing, but there's just some tiny little dots of glue there. And then just lay it down as careful as you can so it doesn't slide around too much. And then just push it down. Now you don't want to push it down too hard because you'll end up with glue squishing out. I just put a super tiny dot of glue because look at how tiny this little dot for the eye is right there. And I want it to stick. And I want it to stay there. So you just need a tiny dot. If you put too big of a dot, it squishes out and it goes all over the place. And then you have no hope for your card. You just have glue everywhere. I kind of like that, just like that. I don't even think I'm going to add that little bird that I cut out because he's kind of small for the scale of things on this. I'm going to add some of this Whisper White for the inside of the card. Might stamp a little floral piece on the inside. This stamp I kind of thought would be cute stamped on the inside. So get your piece of white centered on the inside. I'm gonna go with basic gray. I need to move that ribbon out of the way or I'm gonna be stamping on it. And then I don't need the whole thing, just a little bit off on the left bottom corner I think is perfect. And there you have it, today's One Card Wonder Wednesday. Fun little card made with the Tasteful Touches Stamp Set, some of the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. I added in the stitched shapes to the circles. We used the Banners Pick-a-Punch from the new holiday, or I guess you call it the new mini catalog because it's the August to December mini catalog. But we had so much fun, and these are from the Sunflowers stamp set, these little sprigs here. So I hope you enjoyed today's One Card Wonder Wednesday. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I'm gonna try to get this blog post up tonight, but I'm telling you, I'm already behind on yesterday's blog post. So it might not get up tonight. It might be tomorrow before I get it up. But I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you next time. Have a good night. Bye.